Basically, the stories about just how like international students are handling COVID-19 while they're still in school. So, are they still coming to NIU?
Um, Actually, yes. So many students could not go home when the pandemic happened and when the lockdown happened um, due to worries with visas and being able to return home. Families were fearful for them to return home, traveling, and the opportunity of possibly not being able to return back to the United States due to visas. And then uh, the administration had done some things trying to state that all students needed to at least have one class that was face to face. And then that was overturned, and there was a lot of pressure about students in face to face and how they were going to continue on with their education that way. So when the lockdown happened, many students lost positions at the university, and the university had job freeze and also had cuts in hours. Some students, if they had TA or RA positions, were able to get um, a good amount of credit in order to help for pay for their studies, where other students who didn't have those positions did not get it. Finance is the biggest problem with international students due to that their visas only allow them to work on university campus or within an internship based on their program. So there were some international students as far as undergrads who were able to stay at the university. I think approximately 350 students stayed after lockdown because they could not or did not have a place to go. But that is a mixture of both American students and international students. But many of the grad students continued on living here. They did not leave. They had, already signed leases on their apartments. This is their community, of which they know and who they support each other. And there was really nowhere else to go. Many students also who had been graduates of NIU returned because they lost their jobs or internships outside of the DeKalb area. So they returned back to their community. So some thought that those who already had graduated, some thought, we're going to try and move forward and go move to places that there are possibly more opportunity for employment. And others have applied to over 5,000 jobs and not receiving any response back in order to start any type of employment or even get an interview in order to get jobs. This has put a lot of financial stress, worry, um, depression on students. Not to mention just health issues, social issues, um, transportation, social distancing with no transportation.
So, when you said lost positions at the university, did you just mean like jobs besides like TAs and RAs?
Yeah, a lot of them worked in dietary and in other locations within the university. Some were able, all depending on what jobs there were, some were able to continue on with their 20 hours based on, the needs, but other jobs were just shut down. And then not only that, with job freezes coming into the fall semester in 2020, that put a big hindrance on the opportunity to get jobs or TA positions.
And when you said 350 students stayed after the lockdown, do you know how many of those were just international students?
This is the difficult thing. So I would say probably maybe about anywhere between 300 and 400 international students who live off campus. We, Network of Nations, so the International Student Office contacted us in order to help them acquire face masks for the international students. Within a week, we were able to get over 700 face masks, and we gave them to the ISO in order to distribute to the international community. And they were all handmade, you know, from the community here in DeKalb and Sycamore. People were sewing like crazy. So with that, we delivered, I delivered separately, probably like 70 of them. We delivered, I believe, 400 to the ISO, and then others we have held on to for other distribution besides international students at NIU. There are other internationals in the area also.
And then the applied over to 5,000 jobs, is that one student or just all of them like together?
Their days are hours, spending hours applying for positions daily. That's their job right now. Those are individuals who have already graduated, but within a year and a half into their, as far as grad students go, when they start their spring semester of their last year, or even before that, they're in full force in looking for jobs or internships prior to graduation. And so as far as Network of Nations, we have been distributing food since March to students. We have probably given over 50 tons of food dispersed and delivered to students. Actually, this Friday, we are opening up an intercultural market, which is a food pantry. And that will only be for international students. And they will need their one card in order to get in. We also have given over $8,500 in COVID relief for students who have had some difficulty with bills and things of that nature. I can tell you a little bit about Network of Nations. Network of Nations has been around for 20 years. They do airport pickup. They pick up first-time students at the airport. They welcome them, sort of like a welcome wagon. And outside of COVID, there has been, we would serve a free dinner every Friday from, and different churches supported it. And they would come and help serve. And there are approximately over 20 churches that are connected with Network of Nations. And we also have a group called GLOW for Global Women, where we support women here. And, but we also do things like take them to the Social Security office, opportunities if they need coats and boots, and take them shopping, navigating of things that they may need, or especially now trying to give them resources that are already within the community that they can possibly get help for also. Not reinventing the wheel, you know.
Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Yeah, so, you know, also some of these students have families, so they bring their wives or, you know, their spouses and their children. And then to have the job cut, you know, in order to be able to support their family is very difficult. It's not like they can just get a job at Starbucks or Walmart or any of the other locations, even, you know, a large corporation, like they can just apply anywhere. They're very, very limited. And if they do find jobs like that, and if the ISO, the International Student Office, finds out, then the ISO has to comply with government regulations and they have to disclose that information.
Because the students can only have like an on-campus job, right?
because of their visas.
Have things gotten better for the spring semester? Because you said like things have calmed down a little bit.
Well, I think, I think there's a transition again. So students are still, how can I say this? They have, let's say, over 50 students trying to come to school. The International Student Office expects them to quarantine for 2 weeks upon arrival, or 2 weeks before they leave, which is impossible. You know, you're leaving your home for 2 years. You're not going to quarantine 2 weeks before. Then they're coming to a location, and they have to quarantine for 2 weeks. Food, how do you get it? How do you figure all the things out that you need to figure out? How do you connect with school in order to get your books, all your fees? How do you do orientation? How do you know, all these questions are popping up. And so the ISA, the Indian Student Association, has done a great job of informing the new students. Most of the students are from India. I believe I only know one from Africa and one from Bangladesh. And they have been very, very helpful with helping support them through their transition, very. Some students, so if the students came and they were supposed to quarantine and they didn't have this great group, they would have had to pay at a hotel until they could finally find a place, or maybe get a place, you know, management, how you try and navigate living off campus. And then just other things as far as, you know, where is the engineering office? Where is the engineering building? How do I get there? You know, things like that. Without the orientation, or without this, the group has been really great with information. They've been really great. Very informative, supportive, good leadership, and quick to answer the questions.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. So thank you for taking the time to talk to me. If I have
You're
any
welcome.
follow-ups, I'll call. I'll give you a call.
No problem. I will start asking these individuals if they're willing to speak to you, and let them know that you're from the Northern Star. And is there any way to, I know now I'm going to do the ask. Is there any way to say that Network of Nations is doing an intercultural market, which will serve the international students to help supplement their food? They will be doing a food drive on Fridays from 5 to 6 at Emmanuel Lutheran Church. 5:30? Is it 5:30 West? Is it 5:30 or no? It's 590. I keep on forgetting this. It is 511 Russell Road in DeKalb. And we would love donations. And it's a drive-through food drop-off.
All right. We will add that in. All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with me again.
Thank you.
I will give you a call if I have any follow-ups. I hope you have a really good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.